Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is finally here. It wasn't that long ago we had Pokemon Legends Arceus, and yes, I say Arceus, don't at me. I honestly had a ton of fun playing that game, even if it was rough around the edges. Just running around eating Pokeballs and Mons was a ton of fun. This one may not be as innovative as Arceus, but it's still a massive step forward for the franchise. First noticeable difference from both Arceus and even Sword and Shield is the visuals. Looking at this is a breath of fresh air compared to the Wii era graphics from its predecessor. Legends Arceus came out in 2022. It looked like it came out in 2007. Even if it's not as jaw-dropping as some other games coming out on more powerful consoles, it is definitely gorgeous for what it is. When running around, I encountered some truly magical vistas that warranted using, or in my case overusing, the photo mode. This is certainly something that can't really be said about the previous two games, though you will still experience random pop-ins, especially in the more densely populated cities. Oh, and how can I forget the patented Pokemon 5 frames per second walkers? Much like in Legend Arceus and the whole industry in general, it takes a much more open approach. I mean, you still have the city as your main hub to access each area, but it just feels like you can legitimately wander around for hours and not retrace your steps. I mostly just wandered around battling trainers and catching wild Pokemon, and it felt like I could just go. Every now and again, you'll encounter these little towns with Pokemon centers. Oh, did I mention the centers are open now? No need to go in and out of a door. You can just walk up to the window, deposit weak Pokemon, pick up some items at the shop, and boom, there you are. Even though the shop feels antiquated because you'll find plenty of balls and potions out in the wild, isn't it nice that people will just drop these out here for you to find? Even when you encounter these towns, it never interferes with the vast openness. I got caught up wandering around so much, I only got a handful of main quests done. Now, in terms of the plot, it's so far very straightforward for a Pokemon game. You meet a professor, of which there's a different professor depending on which game you get. I got Scarlet, by the way. You'll meet your friend who is very generous. I don't know what it is, but when I met her, I thought she'd be cold. But it turns out she's super bubbly and really wants to help you out. She helps you get through the tutorial stuff, which is super quick, thank God. You and her hear a very strange noise coming from the beach. You drop down and miraculously don't die. Right there is the legendary. I'm not even 30 minutes in and I've already got the legendary. I'm not joking. The thing is, you can't use him in battle. You're not, quote, ready to use him. He's only used for climbing, surfing, and flying. Game Freak's doing everything in their power to nuke HMs, aren't they? The battle system here also isn't as radical a change as Legends Arceus, but it's still much different than traditional battle systems. You'll encounter Pokemon out in the wild. You can sneak up to them and catch them unaware, but it's much more limiting than it was in Legends Arceus, meaning you can't just run around spamming balls at every Pokemon you encounter. When you do battle, you have to run into the wild Pokemon in order to initiate it, so it doesn't feel as cutthroat as Legends Arceus was. The battles do occur in the overworld, which quickens up the pace, but it still feels a bit old school. One thing that is radically different from both Legends Arceus and traditional Pokemon battles is the new terastallizing feature. So you can use this special ball that you get from your friend that turns your Pokemon into a disco ball version of itself and essentially supercharges its attacks. And it truly feels powerful. Every hit just felt visceral and you can just feel it. Now, I haven't used it enough to truly understand its strategic implementations, but it's useful if you're in a pinch, or if you just want to wail on your friends. Oh, and you can't run around the battlefield anymore. 0 out of 10, won't recommend. Anyways, I'm only a few hours in and I'm still getting used to all the changes. I got to the city and promptly wasted all my hard-earned money dressing up my character as much as possible. I used all of your life savings to play dress up. Are you happy there, little one? But honestly, there's too much to cover here. I like some of the new Pokemon designs, but I haven't really evolved any of my starters yet, but I really am excited to see what they look like. I've only been playing for a couple hours, and this honestly already feels like a proper Pokemon game. Better than Sword and Shield, and I really don't want to throw shade at Legends Arceus. It's a great game in its own right, but I feel that Scarlet and Violet are more complete. I have so much more to say, too much more to say about Scarlet and Violet, but this is just a first impressions video. And I've only really scratched the surface of this game, so I don't really want to overstep my bounds here. So I will put out a full review once I finish the game and get my thoughts and feelings together. If you guys like this, be sure to subscribe because that will be coming. I'm excited to delve more into this game, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.